All right, y'all, let's get going again here. Halfway done on a Tuesday. Unbelievable, man. Birmingham Broker, y'all see my t shirt? If you're watching online, you can see my BB t shirt. Actually, this, Craig gave me this. This is part of the logo for their Birmingham Broker electric motorcycles that they're doing now, BB Electric Moto. Real cool stuff. If y'all ever get a chance to run downtown and want to run by there and look at these cool electric powered dirt bikes, very cool off-road bikes, all sizes, kid sizes, all the way up to adult sizes. Just super fast, just incredible looking too. I mean, these things. Somebody did it right, and they got these things to looking cool. I'd rather have one of these than a e-bike. I'm just saying. Y'all go see them down at Birmingham Broker. Maybe they'll give you one of these cool T-shirts. Craig's a great guy and just has been with us for years and years. And in their main line of business, and what we've talked about for years, is the brokerage. That is, them taking care of your car or truck sale if you've got one to be traded or marketed. From time to time, it's time to trade. You need something else or you want something else, and they'll handle the getting rid of the car you have now. If you go and trade it in, you're going to get a wholesale price. And honestly, don't blame the dealers. They can't pay you market value for your car and then turn around and sell it and make any money on it. They're not in the charity business. So they're going to lowball you and give you something they determine is your wholesale price. And just don't fall for that. Do it yourself with Birmingham Broker. They'll handle it. No stress on you. You get a fat check. Go back to that same dealer, and now you're in a better shape to negotiate for the new car you want from them. It all works for everybody. Birmingham Broker, man, they reached out to me last week, Craig and Keith and all those guys. They've got so many buyers lined up that are just looking for cars right now, trying to find certain ones. Maybe yours is it. For a while, it was sort of mid-size, higher-end SUVs, very popular, very much in demand. There was a time trucks, pickup trucks, were huge demand. It changes, and they've got their thumb on the market and know what's out there and what sells. Let them help you. They're the pros. The main thing is they know how to price it. Birmingham Broker, bhambroker.com. Around the corner from them, and also a partner in this business with the electric motorcycles, is my buddy Michael over at Tapco. Once you get one of these cars or are handling your other car business, man, this is your high-end performance shop that can help you maintain your vehicle. It is so nice to have a real professional, knowledgeable, honest shop to take your vehicles to get stuff done. Increasingly, and I hate it, but increasingly, I have to bow down to it and admit it, we just can't work on our own cars like we used to. There's some minor things you can still do, but these things are rolling computers nowadays. Increasingly so, with all the sensors and things that are hard to guess at. You've got to have some very expensive equipment to diagnose things nowadays. I remember you could get a little $200 scanner and get a code and sort of figure stuff out. Those days are fading. You need a real dealership to help you with your car problems. And Michael and his team are just on the cutting edge of all that with the best technicians in Birmingham. And if you're one of the best, they are hiring as they grow. A lot of people take their whole fleet down there and let them manage that for them. For example, Aaliyah, they run those cars hard with our state law enforcement, and they take them down there to Tapco. Tapco's the place to keep those cars on the road. So if they can handle the damage and the stress that comes from those cars, they can handle whatever you're throwing at your car. So get it down there, and if you work downtown, they've got a courtesy shuttle, and they will. You can drop your car off in the morning. They'll run you to work, handle whatever you've got going on, and get it back to you. That is so convenient. Doing without your car all day kind of sucks. It's Tapco, Tapco, downtown, 6th Avenue South, Tapco, Birmingham, Tapco Beham. If you want to look them up online, tapcobeham.com. Now, speaking of 6th, let's talk about Jawbone Jim. I haven't really had a chance to do that yet today. We're getting jazzed. We're, about 3 weeks out, May the 15th. I know some of y'all like to wait to make your plans, but it's time to get those tickets and to make sure you can get in the door. 3 great bands, headliners all, at our 10th annual Jawbone Jam. So it's a station birthday party. We'll all be there. I'll be doing the show that day. And it's going to be best to go ahead and get your tickets online at either ironcitybeham.com, or you can go to Ticketmaster. They've got them on Ticketmaster as well. So it's a real professional show this year. It's not me and Richard scrapping together and act and having fun. We missed that, but we had a chance to get Brother Kane as our headliner, and I'm excited because I've never seen them live. I've listened to their music for years, loved everything about them. Know people that know Damon real well, and it's amazing. He's out on tour right now with Leonard Skinner, but he's gotten Brother Kane back together, so they're out doing their thing as a band. They've got a band called Stone Horses that's been touring with them. They're coming. My boys in Cattle, which also help me make bands sometimes when I need to make a fake band for Jawbone. These guys always help me out. They're so good, so talented. Cattle is back together. Also a band that got a reunion late last year, so they're rolling around playing again. I'm always seeing their promotional stuff. So it's Cattle, Stone Horses, and Brother Kane. Shorter sets from each, but a full night of music. And the 10th anniversary of our station, y'all. Radio is so fickle nowadays. It's hard to believe we even made it 10 years, the way radio works nowadays. But here we are, still doing our thing live and local, and we love you being a part of it. And many of you have been to many of these Jawbones over the years, and it's a good fellowship time for us while we're also digging some music. Jawbone Jam, May the 15th. Again, tickets online, Ticketmaster, and Iron City Beham. And if y'all were going, let me know. Send me a shout out. I don't need to hear from you if you're not. AJ, don't you hate that? You start promoting something and like you post it online and everybody, all you get for comments are like, well, I can't make it this year.
Man, I would love to make it, or, man.
I just can't go. I got the gout.
That day.
My Aunt Bunny's coming into town and she's got the gout. And I want to hear all that. Just tell me if you're coming. I'd love to. I want to hear from you winners that are coming, not you losers that can't make it. I'm totally kidding. I cannot wait. It's going to be such a fun night. May the 15th. And that sort of, to me, it kind of officially kicks off summer. After we do Jawbone, man, it is summertime every single year. And we have moved this event around. We've done it outdoors, and that always comes back to haunt us. We have hot weather. We've had rain. We had a flood a couple of years ago. Every time we do it at Iron City, it's just great because it's I think it's the best live music venue in this town because my man Jason does such a good job over there running that show. And they have such a variety of events. One of my sons had a wedding reception there. They've done, AJ, you remember we went to see Gary Clark Jr. there?
Mm-hmm.
Back when he was really breaking out. I was a big fan of his and still am, but I got to see him live there. And just incredible acts. Tribute bands all the time over there. So go see them anytime and keep up with them for shows. Make sure you know where you're parking. That's always an issue downtown. It's just a Birmingham thing. So don't try to sneak into somebody's lot. You might get towed. We had that happen a few years ago. But there should be plenty of good parking all around if you get down there early. And again, we'll be doing the show. Is it doors at 6, AJ, right after the show's over? I can't remember if we're going to let folks in. Sometimes we let people in a little early.
Yeah, we may let people in a little. It all depends. We have to also kind of figure out about Iron City because, with the whole ticketing thing. So
and they got security. Some of these events we've done have been charity events, and we'll make the tickets, a charity donation. And sometimes we've done them. We did it one time. It's just a free everybody, sort of cattle call. But with these bands, these are touring professional bands. We're letting them handle all the ticket sales, and we're just showing up to be part of the party. Anyway, there's my pitch. You'll be hearing more from me about that over the next coming days because we want to fill that place up, and I really look forward to seeing y'all. Jawbone Jam, May the 15th. Now, let's go back to the news of the day. Before I get into Iran, got to tell you about the potential for severe weather next week. Ominously, the date is April 27th. But we are in I think a level 2 right now out of the potential 5 severe weather categories. That could get ratcheted up as we get closer. We'll have more information on timing and placement, but being about 6 days out, the computer models are coming into line. We may have some strong weather on Monday. So just be aware of that. And again, as we know about timing and intensity, it may affect schools. I'm just not sure how serious it's going to get. But we've just not been hit real hard in a while. And it's still spring, and we know what it is for tornado season here in Alabama. So we'll keep an eye on that through the rest of the week. Details as the professionals update their forecasting, all that every single day this week. And then, of course, there's Iran. Tonight we've got an extension of the ceasefire. And that apparently it didn't come with a big optimistic thing like some of the extensions in the past have come where Trump says, hey, look, they're playing ball. Let's give them a few more days. What they're saying now is Pakistan, who's been the intermediary, has asked for more time before we reignite the bombing campaign because they don't know who they're dealing with in the Iranian government. They're having a meltdown, and apparently it's getting really intense. And to me, that's a good sign. If they could have a little mini civil war amongst themselves right now to sort out who's running the show and the moderates somehow emerge, then we know who we're dealing with. But we had the situation last weekend where we were dealing with some moderates, working with Pakistan. They agreed to the terms. It looked like the whole thing was heading toward an end. And then some of the radicals took control of the IRGC and started shooting at boats, declaring they would never, they would die before they would acquiesce to the United States. And that's the way some of them feel and believe. And so we've extended at the request of Pakistan so they can figure out who the delegation is and to get these Iranians to the table. And to me, that makes sense in this respect. The blockade of their economy is working and putting more pressure on them internally than we could ever do, I think, from the air with bombs. This is a violent place that is prepared for war and violence for 47 years themselves. They actually are pretty good at hunkering down and can probably survive politically the prospect of bombing. There's always a way to make us look like the great Satan if we're knocking out bridges and infrastructure and punishing the people as opposed to the regime. But right now, the blockade is cutting off the money supply to the regime, which weakens them further. When the regime becomes weak because they don't have money to pay people, they can't manage the services, it gives opportunity for regime change to happen on its own inside the country because we've got them surrounded. I'd rather choke them than punch them right now, and I hope this strategy works. Apparently, daily it's getting worse, and we gotta let them go through this process from the beginning. We've gone in just like in Venezuela. We took out Maduro, but didn't dictate the replacement, which is the opposite of the neocons back in the day, in the Bush era, where they'd want to go in and try to pretend to be the functional intermediate government and appoint somebody we could work with and be a puppet of the United States. That will never fly. Will never have validity. Venezuela now has the chance to elect somebody from the people to run their own nation because we did the hard work of getting that dictator out. It's similar here in that we've decapitated the regime, but it's fractionalized into groups, each one vying for control. I say we let them fight it out on the ground. That could be a bigger change fundamentally in this country than any negotiated deal that leaves some of these maniacs in place or made it difficult to get the nuclear material out or anything like that. There's optimism that bickering right now that's happening behind the scenes is going to come to a boiling point and be beneficial to us. And it's the blockade. They desperately want us to stop the blockade. Again, it's not just about them not getting their oil exports out. They can't get things in. Iran's an odd nation that way. For example, Karg Island and some of their other assets, they don't have gasoline. Let me just stay on this for a minute. We'll get into some other stuff in a second, but they're an oil-producing nation, but they can't refine their own gasoline on the mainland of Iran. So suddenly they got cars that don't move. That paralyzes the regime in a lot of ways as their gas supplies dwindle because they got to import it. They got to bring it on shore, and they've been that way since the beginning. It's amazing, but it's true. And before you laugh at them, remember places like California, we started taking our own refineries offline years ago, and we didn't build one since the 70s until recently. We just had some restarts. We were putting ourselves in that vulnerable position as a country, believe that or not, mainly because of poor policy ideas coming from the American left. These people have the worst ideas in the history of politics. So here we are dealing with Iran and seeing if the squeeze is going to work better than the bombing. I'm getting a couple of other stories coming across right now. It looks like the Senate, they were going to make a move today through reconciliation, vote to fund DHS and ICE. Apparently, they've just advanced a multi-billion-dollar funding bill for DHS, fully funding ICE and the Border Patrol, and they should be able to get it through the Senate, it says here, on 50 votes plus J.D. Vance. By the way, did y'all notice J.D. Vance didn't go to Islamabad? Maybe that was a twofer. We needed him in the Senate to make sure this thing gets across the goal line. And look, if they can do this through reconciliation, they could do the SAVE Act through reconciliation. But now you've got Thune, who's trying to shove that under the carpet after they've had their 2-week break. He got the heat off himself. They ran for it, went and took a 2-week vacation. They came back. Now he's trying to poo-poo the notion that the SAVE Act could come back. But this order of business gets out of the way. There's some judicial appointments. There's the FISA bill that they're trying to, the spy bill where they spy on us. Remember, FISA is supposed to be about gathering intelligence on foreign threats, and they're using it against us. Well, they all want that back. And there's been a fight over that, too. That's in the pipeline as well. A lot of things going down this afternoon. We're watching all of it. All right, let's get back to, we'll get to the next break. Let me throw the phones open for some calls. I had to get a lot of news out right there, so we couldn't take a whole lot of calls. 545-9950 is the phone number if you want to get on the show tonight. All American Metals bringing you the show this evening. Those are my buddies over there in the Bessemer Hueytown area. John Henry and his whole team helping people get these steel buildings built. I have put them together with our buddies at Stockton Mortgage, and they can now help you with your whole plans to do, say, a barn dominium on your property. Let's talk about that when we get to the Stockton Mortgage phase of the show. Steel is incredibly strong, incredibly durable, incredibly affordable. And I learned all those lessons doing my own project years ago. Actually broadcasting to you from a steel building right now that can be made to look beautiful. It all doesn't have to look very commercially, but some of y'all, that's all you want. You need a warehouse. You need a space to get your stuff done. Well, that's All American Metals. It's turnkey. They're completely in control of the process. When I say that, they design your project and they produce your building themselves. They produce the framing. They produce the secondary framing, all the things that hold that together. Bolts, screws, insulation packages, door packages, window packages, all of that in their control, the whole supply chain. They even use their own trucks to bring it to you. They don't even hire that out. They'll bring you the package when you're ready. So, and look, because they're local, you get better direct customer service. You get custom design. Their prices are better. Their turnaround time's quicker. This is who you want to work with if you're building anything: a shed, a pole barn, big commercial warehouse, retail build-outs, mini storage, residential red iron, all of this stuff. Y'all, it's aa-metal.com. That stands for All American. Great patriots over there. They've been doing this stuff since the 1960s. They know a thing or two about putting up steel at aa-metal.com. Back in a minute. Y'all, Express Oil's just got a few more days of this incredible promotion they're running. I just love it. Express, always there and convenient for you all over town. You probably know where one or two is right now. I mean, wherever you are in traffic, you can pop in there 10 minutes later. Your oil's done. You're not stressing over that. They're so good about that, and they're really good about that 10-minute deadline. I mean, that's, of course, by the time you roll into the pit and get started. But I love the way they do things. I've taken my car there for years and years, all of my trucks, all of our vehicles. But right now they're giving, for the rest of the month of April, they're giving $1 of every oil change to Children's Hospital. It's an incredible fund. I think just a few days ago they were up to a little over $1.5 million, and it's adding up every single day. Taking care of another incredible entity right here in the Birmingham area, really for the whole state of Alabama. Y'all, it's Express Oil Change. Pop in there, get something done you've got to get done anyway, and be good to Children's Hospital at the same time. Express Oil, changing oil and changing lives through the month of April. Let's go to Kyle in Hoover. Kyle, what is up with you this afternoon?
Hey, what's up, Leland? Yeah, regarding the SAVE Act, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. I know people have been saying just do it through reconciliation, but correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't there have to be some sort of spending in the bill for it to go through reconciliation?
I'm not sure of all the Senate rules on that, but that it tends to deal with funding legislation at the same time.
Okay. Because I don't think it'd be hard to add something, but I have and you know how it is with Thune. I mean, he's kind of proven he doesn't want this.
No, he's running interference. They're making excuses. He doesn't want this passed for whatever reason. I think they think the Yahoos are the ones that are mostly for it. So he's been making excuses, and he's doing it again. It's a different excuse this week. But I know what you're saying about the technical rules. But it's not hard to throw a spending measure in there to get it to qualify. They could make this qualify. The biggest problem is the Senate parliamentarian. And if you want to know the technical reason why this is a challenge, is because Mitch McConnell appointed this left-winger as the parliamentarian who is sort of the judge. They're the referee they go to when they want to use the reconciliation rule. And I forget the woman's name, but she's still there, and Thune kept her in place. She should have been replaced the minute they serve at the discretion of the majority leader. He didn't replace her, and now we're stuck with a person that's probably going to do her best to not allow the SAVE Act to go through.
And that right there, I think, is what upsets me, is a lot of the stuff that Thune has done. It's like either you are completely incompetent, or you're in bed with the Democrats, or you're just a rhino, which me personally, I think it's all three. I think there's something going on why he keeps fighting, and it's not just this. It's almost like everything Trump and the conservatives want to do, he just seems to find a way to go against it.
Look, when you talk about deep state, the same people that own the Democrats own the Republicans. It's not ideological; it's money.
Right.
And so if they don't want change, they don't want the house they've built to spin out of control. They can't allow the SAVE Act to allow integrity in these elections, because then it's harder for them to keep control. So he knows what he's doing. He'll just fumble around, let it die, blame it on somebody, and try to go home and survive it. Kyle, good call, man.
Have a good one, man.
Bottom of the hour. Here we go. Leland Live. All right, y'all. Ox Foundation Solutions ready to help you out on your home. Man, I'm telling you, you start dealing with foundation trouble. And people, sometimes I used to picture that as, hey, my whole house is shifting. There's this giant crack in the bricks. Look at what's happening to the doors. But sometimes it's very, very subtle. And if you've got those subtle signs, consider yourself among the lucky because you're getting an early warning of something very bad that could be going on. Now, some of you have had water coming in and you didn't recognize it. It was seepage, and that's turned into mold. It's damp. You can smell it. Here comes the humidity of summer. You got to deal with it. You need to deal with it with the pros that handle all of these services, from house leveling all the way down to, all of it. Mold removal, encapsulation, water removal, crack repair, whole house shifting. They've got those helical piers. They can drill into the ground and balance out your house. Y'all, it's just a wonderful company, highly trained folks, the latest technology. And you don't need to be crawling into there trying to figure it out. I wouldn't even know what I was looking at. Oxstrong.com. Probably been on with us for a decade here on the show, helping people solve these crazy issues. Oxstrong.com. All right, let's hit the phones again. We're getting some developments in the news. We just got another arrest. Let me just throw this at you real quick and I'll get into. There's been an arrest in Coleman County of a girls basketball coach for diddling the kids. AJ, what is going on with all these teachers getting it on with the kids?
Man, I don't know. You know what? They need to bring back our teachers from back in the day. That's what they need to do, because there was no messing around with those teachers.
No, and they didn't look like this teacher either. They got her mugshot up. No. The girls basketball coach at my school looked like John Daly. I mean, I had to scratch my head like, should she be wearing the jock strap? Because I know. Dude, she smoked Camel cigarettes with no filter with the head football coach. They smoked them Desert Walkers. She would smack you upside the head, and everybody was scared of her, and there wasn't any of that going on. I don't know if this is a boy or a girl or what's going on, but this woman's been arrested, Paige Adams, 35. Also, the age limit. Why are they letting people under, 35 coach high school kids?
Right. Yeah. I'm saying they need to bring back the I call them the question, because you have no idea.
Yes. Some mature people, like our librarian, man. I mean, don't even get me started.
Like my elementary teacher. Yes. I mean, she was sweet as all get out, but her last name was Rambo.
Oh, yeah.
It was Miss Rambo. There was nothing like, oh, man, Miss Rambo, yeah, she's kind of, no, she was not.
She would draw first blood.
Exactly.
Miss Holly, I'll never forget her, our fifth grade math teacher, man. Miss Holly, she's an African-American lady, probably in her 60s. No, she didn't put up with any crap. AJ, she didn't spank you on the butt. She spanked you on the hand with a strap. They let her do it. We were scared of that woman, but she was a damn good math teacher.
Right.
We respected her. Nobody was going to accuse Miss Holly of trying to hump a kid. The hell is going on?
And even if you saw something, you would not tell nobody. You kept it to yourself. You just nope. And now these teachers are getting younger and younger, and then a lot of the clothes that I'm seeing sometimes a little bit more revealing.
They put a stripper in a teenage boy class of 11th graders.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think is going to happen?
I was going to make a joke about being in the 7th grade.
That was the day he decided, screw band. I'm done with band.
Oh, I know it.
I'm done with playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm finna go get myself a haircut, and I'm coming back on Monday. And that's when he made a decision. I mean, come on now.
We did not. I mean, our teachers look like stereotypical teachers from some old movie. It was, except for 7th grade Miss Cottney. That's the first time I got to see. Couldn't focus, man. Every boy in that class was like, oh. Good morning, Mrs. Cottney.
Yeah.
I'll be excused.
I'm just saying.
They got to stop this, man.
There's got to be like a face requirement. If you're like if you're a 6 and above, nah, you can't teach like high schooler. You got to be like a 2. You know, you got to have a morning shadow, like.
But yeah, but all of them are they're all at the No Kings rally on the weekend. They're just going to indoctrinate your kids. I don't know which one's worse, messing with their minds or It's just crazy. Homeschool your kids. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. There you go.
Keep them at the house. Damn. Line 4 is Bill. What's up, Bill?
Hey, Leland. Thanks for taking my call. I got a question. Why is it that Trump, he went into Iran, really went after them, and then now he's playing footsie with the Iranians, and we're sitting here playing in the sand with these guys? We should just wipe them off the map and walk away from it. I don't get it.
Well, how would you do that?
I'd like to nuke them, but we can't do that.
No, we can't do that. There are innocent people on the ground. We've hit 17,000 targets. The regime is fighting with each other. It appears that the blockade of their country is having a huge effect on them on the ground with that. That's what the intelligence is saying. That might be the best strategy right now. Just bombing from the air is not going to force regime change. It makes us the enemy. Now they're fighting with each other. They're the enemies of each other trying to control power. Let that drama play out for a few days. It's fine with me. We could be patient and let them solve their own problem. I mean, these guys are about to be shooting it out in the streets with each other, and they're better off if we're not the villain tearing up their bridges and knocking out their power, and that's all we've got left to shoot. It becomes we become the humanitarian villains at this point because we've killed all the known, obvious, open military targets. There's nothing else. We hit 17,000 military targets. So the next phase would have to be punitive to the people. You got to give the people space to maybe have an uprising. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but bear with them. I think Trump's got more intel than we do, and they know what they're doing. Tommy on line 1 over here. Tommy, what's up, buddy?
Boy, I got a good little paddling story from the 7th grade. I moved from elementary to the 7th grade, and Coach, I won't say his last name, but Coach, he had holy grass outside the room, and boy, me and 2 guys crossed the grass. I mean, it was golf course ready, and we crossed that thing, and he took us in the gym, and we bent over. He lit us up with a boat paddle. I mean, that just don't happen much anymore. If it did, we'd probably be a lot better off.
Nowadays, if they're paddling the kids, it's in a car after hours, and it's something kinky. It's not even like it's a different kind of spanking.
Oh, I know. We can't even whoop them now. So anyway, I just remember that when y'all were talking about that.
Lord help us. Look, thanks, Tommy. We went through great pains to get a teacher background check bill passed in the 90s. Well, that was the beginning of the efforts. The Democrats kept killing it because the teachers union didn't want it. So we thought that would help. There'd been some horrible stories, very serious stories, molestation stories back in those days. It's one of the many things that drove me out of the media and into politics. Someday I'll tell that long story again because one of the guys that kept killing this bill that I was covering the efforts to get it passed was a guy named Roger Bedford, who's dead, total sleazebag, was in the Senate. He kept killing it. And he was running against Jeff Sessions for the Senate. And I hated that guy for that, what he did to a young man that really wanted this bill passed. And it really bothered me at a very young age that politicians could be so callous for their benefactors. And in this case, it was the teachers union. But they didn't even want basic criminal background checks. Hell, our company does. Companies all over do that now. So they wouldn't allow it for the teachers that are going to be in custody of the kids. So I don't think we could have imagined that bill finally gets passed. The teacher union got weakened, and then now they're making a comeback with the Republicans. But it doesn't matter nowadays. None of these people that are caught now that I know of have priors. And it's it's kind of a different form of this abuse of these kids. Even if it's some hot female teacher and a young buck that somehow wind up in this situation, which we've seen all around the country for years, is still wrong. These are minors. They're screwing things up for these kids for life. And it's supervision. It's management. The thing is, in these school systems, everybody freaking knows. We had some suspicion about one of our football coaches being a predator toward some young girls in our classes back in the day. We went over and threatened that coach in the middle of the night. Yeah, we did. So this is not new, and maybe it's just higher profile because we see these stories in the news. But I swear to me, who sits around and reads the news all day, I see more of these stories. And even here in Alabama, I wish somebody had a running total. Now, we got to let the process play out and convictions or plea deals to be had. But that's just stupid. We're in such a coarse, vulgar culture nowadays. Everything's shifting right in front of our eyes. And I'm going to be honest with you, my old-fashioned granddad warned us about this stuff. I thought he was old-fashioned. I hear the voices of my grandparents all the time, and maybe I'm starting to sound like them that I'm a grandparent. But we are letting some fundamentals fall apart in our society that society should be more outraged about. Just saying. EcoView windows and doors. Man, let them save you some money. They can save you 35% on your heating and cooling by coming over and assessing your situation, counting your windows, measuring everything, giving you a free estimate, and replacing those old single-pane windows. It's dead technology. It's been dead technology. Even if you've got a newer home, over time, that single pane's just not going to hold up. The caulk's going to fade. The seal's not going to, with expansion and contraction. And then you got a leaky house, and you're laying there at night when it's 95 degrees during the day. You're sweating. You can't get comfortable at night. Can't sleep. Turn the air down. You still can't sleep. Your air conditioning is leaving your house while you're trying to sleep, and you're paying for it. Don't do that. There's a payback in getting these done, and EcoView is the best window and door company around. By design, they were designed from day one to just go out there and be the best. Best products, best installers. You'll love getting to know Becky Jackson and her husband. Those guys can get it done for you. Free estimates, save you the money. Let them explain their 35% guarantee and all the other warranties that come with their products. It's ecoviewwindows.com, ecoviewwindows.com. Y'all reach out to them. Let's get a couple more calls, then we'll get the break in here. Toby is up next on line 3. What's up, Toby?
Not much. Y'all was talking about teachers and stuff and paddlers and stuff. Over here in Winston County at Double Springs High School and stuff, they still do that. The bus drivers and all, it's got a paddle on the bus. It don't matter how
old they can
old
paddle
you
them
are,
right there on the bus.
How young you are.
Good for them. Pull the bus over. Do it in front of everybody.
The teachers, the principal, and all that, they told their parents that if you don't want them to come to school, send them somewhere else.
Hardcore, man. I like that, Toby. Good call, man. Let's go to Seth on a cell phone. Thank you, man. Seth's over on line 1. What's up, Seth?
Hey there. This is Seth. I'm a first-time caller, but I listen to you every day. But you're talking about paddling. I graduated high school at Dora High School in 1986. But we were still getting paddled in elementary school, middle school, all the way through high school, and I think it made me a better man for it.
Yeah.
You know, there was no abuse of any kind. It just, I didn't do what they said, and they let me know with a paddle. But anyway, you're having a great program, and I enjoy listening to you guys. I'm a combat veteran, and I just like everything you guys stand for.
Well, I appreciate that, Seth. Thanks for taking the time to be a first-time caller. Hope you'll try it again sometime. You did a nice job. If y'all want to get in, 545-9950. By the way, AJ, how did we get into a paddling conversation? I thought I was talking about something else.
That's a good question.
You know what I think it was? When I brought the story up, I couldn't think of it a non I was trying to think of a word to say about what happened here, and I said diddling. I said, why are these teachers diddling the kids? And somebody heard paddling, and suddenly we're I think that's how we got here. Need to work on some. We got y'all turn the volume up just a little bit if you heard something else. This is ridiculous. All right, back in a minute. Y'all stay tuned. All right, y'all, 454 Leland Live. Let's keep on going. Crocker Moving Services. Next up on the show for years, y'all have heard about Crocker here on the show. Some of you don't have anything playing right now, but if you know friends, you know someone that's doing something, or if somebody walks up to you because you have a truck and say, hey, can you help me out? Go, no, reach out to Crocker Moving Services and let the pros handle it. You don't want to scratch your truck up and pull your back out. I know you want to be nice, but come on, man. There are pros that can do this. Crocker can scale their services down to 2 hours, which means you don't have to pay them for a full day and bring out a whole crew and have all that extra expense. If it's just something big and heavy, sometimes it is just that one big thing that you got to get from A to B. They know how to do it too. They've got all the techniques. Eric's a great guy, former Marine. You know what I love about the way he does things, those young men respond to his leadership. That comes from the Marine Corps. And what I have found raising boys myself is young men want that. They want a challenge. They want clear instruction. They want to work hard. There's a reward in that as a man. There's pride in that. If you got a kid in your life or a young man in your life that needs some work and is willing to work hard and can pass a background check, they're also hiring as Crocker continues to grow. It's CrockerMovingServices.com. Y'all reach out to them for all your moves, big or small. They can move you across the country or come knock something out in a couple of hours and just it's off your back. They do all the hard stuff. Or if you've got somebody that wants to go to work this summer, and as the moving season sort of has an uptick of activity in the spring and the summer, reach out to Crocker. Same website for both, CrockerMovingServices.com, CrockerMovingServices.com. I saw this earlier today. I stuck it off to the side. I got a couple of minutes to get to it now. By the way, we'll go to more phone calls in the last hour as soon as we get through the 5 o'clock news. But the Democrats are they're trying to come up with their own version of Turning Point USA. For all the derision toward that organization and all the evil, vile commentary toward Charlie Kirk for engaging students where they were, the Democrats are attempting to do that. Now, here's why it's going to fail. And I'm not just being ideological because they're, Democrats and they're all crazy. They're already in the universities. They own the universities. They own the professorships. They own the tenure system. They own the curricula. They own that whole culture belongs to them and has belonged to them since the 60s. It's contributed greatly to the ruination of this country and the indoctrination of generations of kids in those little bubble ecosystems they create for themselves. These tenured professors don't know anything outside their bubble. They get away with all this indoctrination. What made Turning Point USA work was it was filling a void. It was filling a niche on those campuses. It was alternative to the campus culture, and it draws curiosity from young, curious minds. It drew debate. It converted some people, and they're still doing it. It's similar to, in my estimation, what Rush Limbaugh did in this industry. Conservative thought and commentary it didn't have a home until Limbaugh made it profitable. He didn't just make it popular, but he proved to this industry that those old dead AM radio stations could make money because there was such a hunger and thirst for viewpoints and debate and perspective from a center-right ideology, I suppose, because it was not being served. When you had the three major TV networks and your daily newspaper, they'd throw that thing on the lawn and the dog would pee on it, and all you got was the drivel put in there. NPR's always been a left-wing bastion. There was no internet, but suddenly this crazy guy shows up. I remember the first time I heard him, he pissed me off. He said something that pissed me off. I thought he was a local guy. I thought he was some local guy in Columbus, Georgia. I was going to go give him a piece of my mind. Then I kept listening, and it shaped a lot of the things that we did and thought, and it gave us a resistance place. Slowly, the industry grew until shows like this all over the country are just as popular as ever because you're serving an audience that's underserved. In the case of the college campuses, there's no niche. There's no place. It's just adding more of the same. It's why liberals have also not been able to establish very profitable and successful radio talk shows or really podcasts. Their podcasts don't do as well because they are trying to serve an overserved audience with that ideology. We're inundated with it's the movie scripts. It's your professor in college. It's the anchor on your newscast. It's everywhere you turn in the culture. It's the barista at the Starbucks. left wing stuff is all in our faces. There is no, they don't need a home. And so economically, there's no market. There's no money in it. There's no niche programming for TPUSA or whatever they're going to call it, Commie USA, whatever they're going to call their version of it. It'll fail because, again, it's intuitive, not counterintuitive. Does that make sense? I don't know. My thoughts. Back in a minute. Leland Live. Y'all stay tuned.